Platinuming video games, debatably one of the most hardest things to do on PlayStation. And I have a total of 28 platinums, and I'm gonna be ranking most of them. Now I can't rank every single platinum because I do have platinums from games such as Telltale games. A Telltale game is basically a game that you just follow a story and gives you a platinum. Anyway, for people who do not know what a platinum is, it is basically when you play a video game and you get trophies for certain things that you do inside of the game. Therefore, when you do every single side mission and main mission or secrets, you get a platinum. So for every trophy, every set of trophies there is one platinum, and to get the platinum you have to get every single other trophy. You will kind of get it inside the video. But yes, I am a redhead now. I am
late as well.
Let me address that real quick. I've just been busy with life, busy living life to be more specific. You got school, I got a lady, I spend time with my family and friends, and then there's some entertainment in there, YouTube, nothing else. And I've kind of need to learn to get the mix of editing and filming in there, but hey, progression. I will make that progression eventually. I don't know when that is, but yes. Enjoy. Yes. Now, starting off this tier list, we gotta start off with the first ever platinum. That is Marvel Spider-Man. Now, this game has a lot more meaning to me than the actual platinum alone, because not only was this my first ever platinum, but this was the first ever game I played when I got my PlayStation, which means that it has a lot of meaning to me compared to most of these other games that I platinum. And after that is also one of my favorite games of all time, The Walking Dead Telltale series. Now, a lot of people probably don't even know that there is a Telltale game about The Walking Dead. I think there is about 7 seasons, 7 different games split into, and the first season is such a beautiful game. I just had to include it. I won't be including the Telltale games, which is around about 5 or 6 games of that I platinumed, which is kind of unfortunate, but yes. So straight Spider-Man is going to S tier, and The Walking Dead is unfortunately going to B tier. It's just an honorable mention because it is such an amazing game. Moving on, we have the platinum of Tekken 7. Now this game is weird because I kind of accidentally platinumed it. Now hear me out. I was constantly reinstalling this game, and I got every single trophy to the point of where I just had to look. I was like, oh, I just need to do a couple more trophies, and I platinumed, and that's what I did. I basically accidentally platinumed this game. I'm gonna put it in B tier because if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I would have platinumed it without doing all the accidental trophies, because it seems kind of complex and it seems like it takes a lot of time, which I guess it did. I don't know. The next game is Spider-Man Miles Morales, either or. This game is interesting. It's a very small game despite its size. But the platinum is very long and irritating. It's just when you have to do something for no reason at all. I mean, most of the trophies in games, that's the whole thing. You don't have to do this. That's why it's a trophy, so you can make you go do it. But this is it's really unneeded. The game is so small, you have to play it twice to equal up to a normal game, and that's what they make you do. It's just come on now. Just make it a DLC. A DLC is basically extra content. That's how short the game was. It is basically just extra content that you have to play twice. They are both going into a B tier. Tekken 7 and Miles Morales are going into B tier. B tier is not a bad. It's fair. I'm putting fair over B. Now after Miles Morales, we're going to God of War 4, which is actually one of the most beautiful games I've played, despite the name God of War. And yes, it has a lot of chaos. Now, I would say the platinum is actually really good, but not good enough to put in an S tier, unfortunately. It is going to be an A tier. It isn't a hard platinum, but it is a long platinum. A long platinum that is actually very beautiful. Like the duration, you're constantly seeing these beautiful things. It's like, oh wow, like that's top of A tier, but not enough to be an S. Not yet, I guess. And after that, like the literal sequel, I think I platinumed it immediately after, is God of War Ragnarok. Now this is the sequel to God of War 4, meaning God of War 5. This is God of War 5. Now with God of War 5, debatably I would actually say it's kind of worse than God of War. Not only is it less difficult, the story is really good, but it's also not as good. It's like it's really good, but it didn't live up to God of War 4. Or, it lived up to it, but it didn't surpass it. And that's what you would kind of expect from a sequel, considering, you learn and blah blah blah. But I'm gonna give it an A tier as well, but under God of War 4. The next game is Untitled Goose Game. And from the title name, it actually sounds really weird. And I also thought it was gonna be weird, but it is a really beautiful game. Like, I was really shocked by the time I finished it and platinumed it. It was really beautiful and weird at the same time, but more beautiful. It's going to an A tier, surprisingly. It is difficult, it's long, and it's beautiful. What more do you need? The game after that, which is, I don't know why I'm putting this in the tier list, but the game is called, what is it called again? The Button Bee Fields. This is literally a game where you sit and click your control for a minute and you just get a platinum. You just have to sit there, click a button, and you immediately get a platinum. That is going to be the first F tier. It's not like I can't call it bad, because you literally just have to sit there for a minute, click a button, and you get a platinum. It's not fun, it's not beautiful. I mean, it is actually kind of beautiful, just a little bit though. It's not fun, it's not long, there's nothing there. You just sat there and you clicked a button. F tier. No. Next, moving on to my second favorite game ever. Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know why I have to add drama to it. I love drama. Ghost of Tsushima is one of the most beautiful games, despite all of the pain you go through in that game. Jin Sakai, a legend. This platinum is going to S tier. This is another one of those platinums that is really long. Not difficult, but long. But the beauty in this game is beyond any game I've ever seen. I'm gonna play this on PlayStation 5. I might actually record it, maybe later on in life. But it is such a beautiful game, and I am definitely gonna play it again and platinum it on PS5 for sure. And moving on to the next platinum is Assassin's Creed 2. Now this game actually came out when I was born, meaning it is turning 16 or is already 16. And I actually really like this platinum. Now most old games that I've played, like The Last of Us, Assassin's Creed 2, they're really good. Like, I thought old gen, again, I would expect, sequels to be better, even though we clearly keep proving me wrong. This planet carries on. But yes, Ghost of Tsushima is S tier, and Assassin's Creed 2 is going to A tier because it is a really good game, really long, fairly difficult. It's not difficult, it's just one trophy. There's like, come on, you don't have to do all that, but it's still a really good game. Not much to say on it. After all those platinums, we have the Callisto Protocol. I think this is the first ever horror game I platinumed. Yes, it wasn't that difficult to think about, but sometimes my brain can be a little small. Can't blame me. This platinum is going to be tier. It's fairly difficult. The story is really good for a horror game. You know, there's a lot of great horror games like Resident Evil and stuff, but this is a really good horror game. But the platinum, I mean, you get the trophies by just playing the game. The only two you need to look out for is playing on the hardest difficulty and looking out for like logs of information as collectibles, and that's really it. It's not really that much of an entertaining platinum, but it's an entertaining game, but it's still a B tier. But to bring down that little B tier, we're going to move on to Sifu. Now this is a very difficult game, or for a lot of gamers out there. Not me. I don't know what the freak that was. I really enjoyed platinuming this game actually. It's also a very beautiful game. It's just A tier. There's not much to say. It's a very beautiful game. It's very difficult. Obviously for unprofessional gamers unlike myself. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. The next game I platinumed is Call of the Sea. Now this game is a really underestimated, a really undervalued game. Or I don't know what the right word is, but this game, not enough people know. Call of the Sea is it's also such a beautiful game. It takes a lot of brain power. I mean, like I literally took a while. I literally even had to get a guide, even though I was platinuming the game and I needed one in the first place. But I needed a guide for some of the puzzles because they were so complex. And in this time, I actually got some bad news, so it's a little bit of a time, but it's a really good game. Beautiful platinum, beautiful everything. It's A tier, not S tier, because S tier is the elites. It is an A tier. The game after that, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, starring my first ever, not first ever, starring my now video game crush, Cassandra. Sorry, she's so tall and dominant. She's very dominant and muscular. She can protect me. And yeah. Despite all those things, just throw that aside. It is a interesting platinum. It's not difficult. It's not easy. The story is not great, but it's also not bad. I'm gonna give it a B tier because B is fair. Remember, we're slapping B on fair. Leaving Odyssey behind, unfortunately. We're going on to the next Assassin's Creed, Brotherhood. Now this is the sequel to 2, which we spoke about, and this is interesting to say the least. Debatably it is better, and debatably it is worse at the same time. In my personal opinion, I'm gonna put it lower than 2, but it is debatably better than 2. It's a whole complicated thing, okay? But I'm gonna put it in a B tier. I'm gonna put it on the lower A tiers. It is actually a really good platinum, but I'm just deciding about whether it's better than 2. I don't think it is. Maybe it is, but I'm gonna put it in a B. So let's put it put it in B. Game called Bugsnax, which, like Untitled Goose Game, is another very weird game that is so beautiful. It is basically a child's game that I know most adults, probably like 80%, would appreciate. It is such a beautiful game. When I have kids one day, they're playing Bugsnax. I'm raising them the right way. They're watching Ben 10, Bugsnax, Power Rangers. Yes. And for my final PlayStation 4 Platinum, Bloodborne. Yes, a very spicy PlayStation 4 game to end your platinumings on. It is, for people who don't know Bloodborne, that it is what you call a Souls game. Now, Souls games are one of the most difficult video games in the history of video games. Like, there's a whole genre that they don't even mix together, but I platinumed one of them, and I actually think it's one of my favorite platinums because, weirdly enough, I actually found the game to be kind of simple. Like, Bloodborne isn't actually that difficult in my opinion. I think Sifu was just as difficult as Bloodborne. Bloodborne a little bit more, maybe a lot bit more. I feel like I'm irritating someone. I'm putting Bloodborne in A tier. It is, no, I'm gonna put it in S tier actually. Not only that, but you can only platinum a PS4 version. So, yeah, that's a pretty special game to platinum, to keep on your records. On to our basically final platinum, Tekken 8. Now, this was my first ever PlayStation 5 platinum. This, other than Tekken 7, was actually really good. I platinumed this game not because I could, but because I wanted to. It actually had a beautiful story, it has beautiful gameplay, and the whole thing about Tekken 7 is the story is, we don't talk about that. It's a disgrace. It has its characters is okay, very pretentious. But I'm gonna put it in an A tier. A lot of A tier games says I have good taste. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the platinumings, and again, sorry for the whole late uploading. I don't know when this video is gonna be up because I did film this within last week, and it is Monday at the moment, but I don't know if I'm uploading this on the weekend, which I probably am, but if I am not, then I'm not. Anyway, yeah, no, I don't feel like I needed to make an outro to say more, but I don't know what to say. Bye bye.